Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 107 of Brew Talk with Mr. Beer. My name is Robert Lewis. I will once again be your host for today's show. As always, we appreciate you guys taking the time to tune in and watch our videos every week. Hopefully you're enjoying them. Hopefully you're learning something. If you want to reference our notes for this video or any of our past videos, you can find those on our blog page, mrbeer.com/blog. You can read what we're talking about here if you don't want to listen to us talk. Or if you want to go back and reference something, you can do that. Also, if you want to go back and just watch all of our Brew Talk videos, I think the best way to do that would be on YouTube. We got a playlist on there. You just filter by Brew Talk. You can also do that on our blog page on the categories, just filter by Brew Talk. So if you want to see what we've talked about in the past, it's a great place to check it out. So without further ado, we'll dive into today's topic, which is why you should put your beer in the fridge for 48 to 72 hours before drinking it. This is kind of the last little step in our instructions before we say you're all done. And I think it's something that gets overlooked pretty often. I mean, especially if you're a first-time brewer. I mean, you spent all this time waiting, you brewed your beer, you bottled your beer, and all you want to do is just drink the dang thing and see how it tastes. But you might be better advised to wait 48 to 72 hours to drink it after you put it into the refrigerator. And we're going to tell you why. So the reason that we have that step in there and why we tell people to do that is because that's going to help with your carbonation. So if you ever poured like a warm beer, for example, usually they'll pour and they'll have a good foamy head on them, but the CO2 won't last long. It dissipates quickly. They always have kind of just some kind of odd little taste to them. And one is because they're warm, but also that CO2 is not fully absorbed into that beer. So when a beer is cold, the cold liquid, it makes it easier for the CO2 to absorb into the beer. So it makes it more bubbly, the CO2 is more present throughout the entire beer and with every sip, which is really good. And also what CO2 is going to do is it's going to help bring out more flavors in your beer. So CO2 really helps with like hop flavors and hop aromas and some stuff like that. So if you have a beer that is, if you have a beer that has, that's very malty, bringing out that hop flavor is going to help balance it out a little bit. If you have an IPA, bringing out that hop flavor is really going to get the full benefit of the IPA. So, if you have a hard time waiting, or you've been waiting for long and you're like, I just want to drink my dang beer, I don't want to wait the 48 hours, and what I would suggest is put 2 beers in the fridge. One you can drink within 24 hours so you can see how it tastes. The other one, wait that 48 to 72 hours because you're going to notice a big difference between how those 2 beers taste. I'm a very impatient person, so usually I just want to try a beer when it's cold, and I'm, one to just throw a beer in the freezer for an hour and then come back and drink it. It is what it is, but when you do let it sit, you do notice that you do get a lot of different flavors. You get some full benefits of that CO2 just fully absorbing into that beer, really bringing out all those flavors and really getting everything that beer has to offer. So make sure you leave your bottles in the fridge for at least 48 hours before drinking them. It's really going to help improve the beer. Any longer than 48 to 72 hours isn't really going to make a difference in there. It's just that initial time frame to get it chilled and get that CO2 absorbed in there is really going to help the beer just kind of really come together. So that's going to wrap it up. It was a quick episode. Hopefully it was informative. Hopefully you guys will maybe leave your beers in the fridge for a little bit longer for those impatient people. I have a hard time doing that myself, but I will try to do that as well. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like or comment. We really appreciate that. Make sure you're following us on all our social media channels. We're at Mr. Beer on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. If you're posting pictures of yourself brewing beer, making beer, make sure to tag us. You can use the hashtag Mr. Beer, but if you tag us, we really appreciate that because it helps us kind of get it quicker because sometimes we don't always see those hashtags. So make sure you're tagging us in your posts because we like to share them. And also, if you want to learn more about Mr. Beer or brewing with Mr. Beer, join our Facebook group, Mr. Beer's Brewing Society. You can find that by just going to Facebook and searching Mr. Beer's Brewing Society. We do ask that you answer the 3 questions or we won't let you in, so please answer them and we will let everyone in. So that will wrap it up for this week. I hope you guys are having a great week. Hope you're enjoying American Craft Beer Week. Hopefully you're drinking some local craft beer, and if you want to check out our sale, we got 15% off American Series refills, and we have 15% off our Clone Zone, which is kind of all the recipes that are all the craft beers or commercial beers, whatever you want to call it, that we've cloned over the last year and a half or so. I think it's almost 30 beers in there now, so check those out. Those are on sale. Some of our very popular recipes are in there as well that people like a lot, so check that one out, and we will talk to you guys next week. Cheers.